Hey everybody, I'm Doug.
I'm Chris.
Uh, we're gonna talk a little bit about Kyle Rittenhouse. We're gonna try to break it down, what we've seen, what we think. Um, Start off, Chris.
Well, if you go from the beginning, I was actually watching that night, and it was sent out over live from the reporter that does it, and it had an interview with that kid. He said he was there to help people and render first aid and protect the building he was at, and he said he had his medical kit, and he showed that, and he showed that he had his rifle for self protection because there are dangerous people out there. So I mean that's okay, and then about 5 minutes later is where everything started.
Well, he even asked the police if they had any extra water.
Yeah, they threw him a couple.
And one of the armored trucks opened up the top and tossed out some water for him and somebody else.
Yeah.
It to me, he was being attacked by a mob, and he was running away from them.
3 different times they engaged him. 3 different times,
and one of them got to the back of his head, and he kept running. He kept running, and then he tripped, and then they attacked him. He shot one of them in the belly. He shot another one
in the head.
And then the other one that had a pistol was coming after him, and he shot him in the arm.
You know, I want that pistol because they said it's a cell phone. I want that cell phone because that looks awful lot like a 45 or Glock. I like that cell phone.
You break it down. What kind of charges should he get? Now, after he shot him, he walked away normal. I mean, it's like he was in shock or something.
Probably was.
And then he put his hands up to the police, and everybody screaming. And I seen an interview with I think the chief of police, and they said that why did they? One of the reporters said, "Why did they let him go? Why did they let him go home?"
Nobody knew what he did. He just engaged, and he was just showing the police, "Hey, not me." So they went past him.
They yelled at him, "We're headed. There's hurt people up there. We're headed to them." And then he walked to a cruiser, and his hands were up, and they told him to get out of the way. They were headed to the people that was hurt.
That's emergency service.
And he walked around to the side of the car to talk to the officer, and it looked like the officer told him to get the hell back.
Oh yeah.
And he stepped back from the car. And then
the officer doesn't know is he friendly or foe,
yeah.
So everybody's just back.
So he left and he went home. They arrested him at his house in another state.
Well, the state's not far away. It's right up there at the line. But what I understand, he actually called them and told them what was going on, and they came and arrested him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
he wasn't trying to hide or run or anything.
His mother drove him to the protest, and should there be a charge there? I don't know, but
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say yes.
I think there's different charges here. A kid with a 17-year-old kid that had a gun that was illegal. I've heard debates on both sides that it's legal for a 17-year-old kid, and then I heard that
some states it is, some states it isn't.
But illegal.
He transferred over state lines.
The way I'm understanding in that state, it's legal for a 12 to 17-year-old to possess a gun with an adult supervision. Yep. Then I've heard it 12 to a 13-year-old. Excuse me, I'm wrong on that. 12 to a 13-year-old. Yeah. He can possess a gun with an adult supervision. hunting only.
Yes.
Then I heard from like 15 to 17, you're allowed to have a gun with a gun safety course. You're allowed to have that. And now I've heard it both ways, and I just don't know. Because it's kind of not clear.
But like I said, I mean, I don't know how it goes, which line he would, because he crossed state lines. So what he might have done at home, those rules might not be the same here. It's like my concealed carry. Depending on what state I go to, it's not recognized.
But now you got to break this thing down. He was at a protest. He was after the curfew.
Yes.
He was after, so he was breaking the law. He should be charged with that. Yes. Should he be charged with possession of a rifle?
Yes.
Should he be charged with murder?
No.
I don't think so, because he
he
had a mob at
there is film on every engagement he had, and let's do the bad stuff about what should happen, and then let's afterwards change it up to what's positive about it, because there are sides that are positive. But he had people engaging him from behind. He was trying to run away from every shot that he did. He was trying to run away and get away. They refused to let him and engaged him.
Yeah. The murder charge, I don't think it'll stick. I understand he's got a good lawyer.
Good. I mean, he's going to need it.
He had somebody put up a GoFundMe page, and I understand it's been removed.
Yeah, GoFundMe took it down
because it's not
criminal activity or something like that.
If it's their rules, it's their rules. You gotta abide by the rules.
It's theirs.
Yeah. I just hate to see this kid. I see both sides of the story.
Oh, yeah.
Some say he's a criminal. Yeah, he is a criminal.
He's in criminal activity. He is the criminal.
Hey, you can look at it like this. If he wasn't there, had a gun, 2 people wouldn't be dead. 1 guy wouldn't have had his arm blowed off. Partially.
Yeah. It wasn't pretty.
But you know what?
They wouldn't have been rioting. He
Antifa
wouldn't have felt to be there.
If Antifa wasn't there, he wouldn't have had to have been there.
And you can see in the film, it wasn't peaceful protests.
No, it's not a peaceful protest when they're hitting people.
CNN did that one. It was in the museum. It was funny. I was like, explain to me how this works. Fiery, mostly peaceful protests.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, fire. The cars and buildings are on fire behind him. It's fiery, peaceful protests. And they're rewriting the English language to fit their narrative.
This kid, Kyle Rittenhouse, he went through the junior police academy.
They used to have an ROTC around here, too.
They do.
They still have the junior police here?
No, they have the ROTC.
No, this was for
military.
I can't remember what it was called, something like that. But they had a junior police squad around here, too, because I knew a few people.
He went through that. He's a Trump. He likes Trump.
Oh, yeah, everybody's using that on him hard.
Yeah. He just, man, I'm telling you, he's just like in the wrong place at the wrong time. He shouldn't have been there in the first place because there was a curfew. He shouldn't have had a gun, maybe because he's underage. Should he be charged for murder? If you had somebody hitting you in the back of the head, and the one guy that got shot in the belly, he was coming at him, man. He had him down. The kid was down on the ground.
Well, there's one. There's one. The guy that has his arm shot. If you look at the video of him, he's over him and has the time.
Yeah.
So either one or two things happen, because you can tell he turns around with the gun like this, trying to figure out what it is. Either one, he had the safety on, or 2, that gun jammed. Might have been a Jennings.
I don't think he should be charged with that kind of a crime for murder. Look, this kid, people make these decisions and they don't look at the long term. This kid's life is ruined for the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah.
Even if he's not, even if they drop the charges of him,
he'll never get on a police force. And you can tell by doing that junior stuff he did, that's where he was wanting to go. Everything that was like what we're going to get into next about it.
This will always be with him.
He will never get
These young kids are not understanding that. Even the protesters that are arrested and the prosecutors are not throwing them out by the hundreds. These kids don't realize that stays on your record to get a good paying job. Maybe that's why these rioters they're out there rioting, because they've been doing other things all their life.
I think they're paid under the table myself.
Well, defund their welfare. That's the way I look upon it. But, if they can't eat, they can't be out there because they're going to be looking for food. Oh, that's what rioting's doing. They're stealing.
What was it? AOC said they wanted bread to feed their family.
Yeah, as they're stealing the fire. Yeah. But does this kid deserve murder charges? I don't think so. What do you think?
No.
Okay.
And I want to clarify why, because we stepped on everything that was bad about the situation, and there's a lot bad. But okay, if you saw the first interview, I sent you the copy of it so you would see it.
Mm-hmm.
He says, okay, he states he's there to protect the building. It's his job to protect that building. So somebody let him know where to be and what to protect. And he's there to protect that building and to render first aid. He has his first aid. He's a big first aid kit. And he states, I have my rifle, but the rifle is for my own protection because there's bad people around here. I understand that. Now let's go with the aspect of looking at him at the time. He was over 8. So he had that. And if you look at the tactical on it, how he has the rifle strapped, he's strapped in a medic way so that he can help somebody render first aid and still get to his weapon if he needs to. His intentions there weren't. He's not set for combat. He's set for helping people. And I also want to get into the fact that he's the police trained, junior police trained, which is a good thing, and it came in very handy in this situation. If you watch those videos, that boy has serious trigger control. I mean, there was none. Everything was centered. Everything was right. He was right.
After he shot the kid in the arm, and then he walked away, did you hear all the gunfire behind him?
Yeah.
Were they shooting at him?
Nobody knows. That's one of the guy that shot the video was talking about. He didn't know where the gunfire was coming, if it was at him or just somebody else shooting or what. It just was happening. But I mean, you have to be this was not just a sweep. This was not just I'm shooting everybody. He only shot his attackers. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody else. I mean, if you look, there's a bunch of people around there. Nobody else. Only his attackers. So that's not malice. That's not wanting to shoot somebody. That's defending yourself. End of story.
It's
and like I said, the trigger control I thought was phenomenal.
It's a sad thing that this has all went down. But the thing that they're protesting, that's a different story. But you protest a criminal for a criminal, which I just read that the guy that got shot, that they're protesting for, Blake, his GoFundMe page is over $1 million now. $1 million.
He's a criminal. I mean, it's no different than Floyd or anything else. All of those got just a shit ton of money for being a criminal, and that's what they were. They were criminals doing criminal activity, and they died. If you are going to do criminal activity,
expect it. Expect to get shot by the police. If you're going to play stupid, expect it. This kid wasn't playing stupid. He was running away from them, and they were attacking him, and he fired to get them off of him.
Yeah,
I don't blame him. I'd done the same thing probably.
The only one,
but I wouldn't have been there in the first place.
The only one I've seen that they have some kind of ground to stand on is that Breonna Taylor one. But even she loses credibility because she's dating a known drug dealer and trafficker, And the police were fired on through a closed door.
Yeah.
So they returned fire. She got hit. There was, oh, she saved lives. She did. And you know what? If she'd had a better choice and not dated a drug dealer and she put herself in that game. She became part of the game. So she takes the same risk. She would still be saving people today.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all I'm going to say about it.
Gotta wait for more news to come out on it.
Yeah, you gotta wait. And it's a shame that the officers didn't have cameras on their chest when they shot Blake. But I'm Doug.
I'm Chris.
We'll talk to you on the next one. Remember, give it a thumbs up if you like it. And if you want to talk about something, put it in the narrative down below.